Hey, what's up? It's Neil here, and it's summertime. It's like July 2023. There's been this huge snowpack in the Sierras this year, which are some of the closest places to me that I love to go backpacking. Last month, I was able to take my son out to Yosemite, but next month, I have a trip out into Kings Canyon, and I'm trying to lighten my pack. I have a Jetboil right now. I have like the Jetboil Java. It's like that green one with the press. And so for this month, I actually bought three different stoves. I bought the BRS 3000. Someone turned me on to this. It's the Gas 1 stove. And then I also bought the MSR Pocket Rocket. Now, this is the Pocket Rocket 2 actually. This is the funny thing. I've actually bought this stove. This is the third time I've bought it. I've never used it. It might actually be the fourth. I've always wanted it. I've always wanted to get lighter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using it with the Tokes 750. And a couple reasons. I'm trying to lighten my pack load. And I also am curious about like starting to cook more on the trail. I've been using the Jetboil. I can make top ramen in it, oatmeal. I can boil to pour into some meals. But I figured, like, since I have all of these right now, I'm going to probably return two of these stoves. But I thought, wouldn't it be cool to just help out and do a side-by-side comparison so that you could see them if you were interested and just see kind of different sizes between them and what what that would look like. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. We got these three stoves side by side so that you can see them. And I'm going to start with the Gas 1 stove here. I ordered this off Amazon. It took a couple days to get here. This is a small stove. Even just to give you some perspective, like the box that it came in is less than 2 inches. Like as a square. So yeah, that's crazy. It has its own little case here that you can pull it out of. You're gonna want to get kind of turn this over to drop these guys, and then push them down in place. Boom, boom, boom. Your little fuel thing's gonna pull out. And there's kind of like your first look here. Maybe that's even better at the Gas 1 stove. This was recommended to me as an option instead of going with this over here. So I'm going to set this over here for you. Your next one is, so this one we're at 2 inches. Wow, this one might actually be a little bigger than that first one. Now there's a staple in here, and I think I'm going to return this one, but I'm going to see if I can get it out for you. Let's see if we can kind of just pop this open for a hot second here. This one comes with a cool little, there we go. And this is really kind of the same, this is almost the same exact stove. Pop that fuel thing out. These do feel a little easier. The arms felt a little easier to get out. And then we're just going to want to kind of punch them down into place. Boom. So let's see if you were looking at these. I'm actually not sure there's a difference. Literally. I don't think there's a difference. Do you see that? I mean, it's the same gas knob. The difference is this is red and this is silver. They both have the holes underneath. I mean, these arms are exactly the same. Look at that. There's not a way to line them up, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think these are the same stove, yo. See that from the bottom there? Interesting. Yeah, put something in the comments if you think these are the same. I mean, look at that pin even at the bottom that's holding that on, that pin right there. It's on both stoves. Interesting. Well, I'm glad I did that. I picked up the BRS stove for like $14 or $15 on Amazon Prime Day. And I picked up the Gas One stove a couple, like just earlier this week. It was like $16. So these are basically, I'm going to say these are the same stove. You're going to disagree, and that's okay, because that one says BRS and that one says Gas One. But my first look is these are the same stove. So that was good for me to, we got, this one comes in here, this one comes in here. Now, here's the reality too with the MSR stove. These guys got a lot of, look, there's like a thing here. I want to pull this out because I want to buy, this is the one I want to keep. But I'm not going to rip it out of here for you. But it is, I mean, these arms are significantly, let me see if we can get this out. It's like, I don't know why it's like connected into there somehow. See that? It's like connected in there. This is the one I want to keep. And I want you to see, because I mean, this one is just significantly bigger. I mean, this is just a beefier stove. It weighs more. I know that. It gives you all the stats on here for your boiling time. This one's 2.6 ounces. This one is weighed in grams, 26 grams, which I think on this stove equates to like 1.7 ounces or something. I remember thinking of how just this stove could really, I mean, this stove can do a radical change for your weight. And you know, there's some people, they love this little stove here. So let me see if I can get this MSR Pocket Rocket out. Okay, I was able to get this casing off, but the MSR Pocket Rocket is 2.6 ounces. I don't know if the Gas One stove tells us on the packaging. Oh, there's customer service if you want to call them. You just pause the video and get that number if you're into phone calls. Someone told me that this is actually lighter than this. That's why I'm pushing this out of here. But still, if you look at these compared to each other, I'm going to leave this in the packaging for now. You know, this stove, I mean, I can just feel it. This stove weighs more. It's beefier. I feel like this is going to be a stove that's going to last, that's going to do what I want. You know, you can even compare, this is the Pocket Rocket case that it comes with versus the Gas One stove case. So you definitely, I mean, the MSR stove is bigger, but from what I've heard, this is just like a killer stove, where this just feels a little light. I can totally feel that with this over here. I'm not saying it's bad. For me, then this is for me. You gotta choose for you. But for me, I want a stove that I know I can pull out and is gonna work. Now I've heard that there's some issues with this and the O-ring on the bottom, but I mean, there's like tons of hikers that use that. So yeah, this is gonna be the stove that I'm gonna use. I'm gonna need to pull this thing apart and get it set up, but I think it's gonna really be the stove that can hold this Tokes pot and do what I want. So if you've been considering any one of these stoves, I hope that this just kind of gives you some size comparison, some visual on them. For me personally, I'm gonna return this. I know it was only $14. I know there's people who love this stove and that's what they use. It is half the weight of this. So just remember that if you're looking at it. But when I say half the weight, I mean not half the weight, maybe. This thing's 2.6 ounces, which that 2.6 ounces plus the 3.6 ounces on this, I'm what? Math's bad for me right now. 6.2 ounces on my cook system, where probably with my jet boil I'm at like 13. So I'm cutting it in about half. This little gas one stove intrigues me. I'm gonna send it back because I think it's just basically the same thing as the BRS stove. And I don't know if any of you like feel this way, but I've also bought this stove 2 times now. Like I've just gone back and forth, back and forth. Where I struggle is I want the best system. I want the lightest system. And here's what I'm realizing. There's not a best out there, and you just got to do what works for you. And so hopefully this MSR works for me, and hopefully stacking it with this Tokes pot is something that works for me. I just hope this is helpful for you in what you're considering and what works for you. Hope you have a great next hike.